My stepdad hid my college acceptance letters, claiming he was protecting us from debt. But his control backfired. My mom left him, and the family stood by me. I'm 18, and for months I believed I was rejected from every college I applied to. By April, all the emails I saw were rejections. It was crushing. I had worked hard in high school and couldn't understand why I didn't get in anywhere. My stepfather kept telling me not to worry and that community college was a great start. He had always insisted that community college was a smarter choice than a 4-year university. I assumed he was just trying to comfort me, though it always bothered me how quickly he dismissed the possibility of me going to a university. What I didn't know was that I had, in fact, been accepted. My stepfather intercepted my acceptance letters and emails, showing me only the rejections. What I didn't know was that I had, in fact, been accepted. My stepfather intercepted my acceptance letters and emails, showing me only the rejections. What I didn't know was that I had, in fact, been accepted. My stepfather intercepted my acceptance letters and emails, showing me only the rejections. Without my knowledge, he created a filter that automatically deleted or hid emails containing words like congratulations, accepted, offer, or admission. He also took physical mail from colleges before I saw it. I never beat him to the mailbox, so I didn't think anything of it. Turns out, he had been hiding the acceptance letters in his home office. I only discovered this by accident. A week ago, I got a call from a university I had applied to. The admissions officer asked if I was still interested since my acceptance deadline had passed. Confused, I said, "What acceptance?" At first, I thought it was a joke, but she explained that I had been admitted. I told her I hadn't received any letters or emails and thought I was rejected. She suggested checking my spam folder and said late enrollment might still be possible. When I searched my account, I found an acceptance email in the trash marked as read. Digging further, I saw the filter my stepfather had set up. Multiple emails from different colleges had been hidden. It hit me that the only reason I thought I was rejected everywhere was because those were the only emails left. I needed proof, so when my stepfather was at work, I checked his office. In one drawer, under other folders, I found a large folder filled with my acceptance letters. Big envelopes from at least 4 universities, already opened. On some, he had scribbled comments like, "too expensive," or "no." I was shocked and furious. I confronted him that evening with the letters in hand. At first, he denied everything, but when I showed him the proof, his expression changed. He finally admitted that he hid them because he thought college was too expensive and didn't want my mom spending money on it. I told him I had saved money from my part-time job and that my mom had put aside money for me long before she married him. It wasn't all his money to decide on. I yelled that he had no right to make such a choice for me or my mom. He argued back that I should be thankful because he was protecting us from debt, insisting that starting at community college would save me from a worthless degree. I told him it wasn't his decision and that hiding my letters was selfish and wrong. The argument escalated. He told me to be quiet and stop overreacting, saying we weren't going to waste money on a university when community college was available. I shouted back that he had ruined my chance at schools I worked so hard for. Deadlines had already passed because of him. He rolled his eyes and said it wasn't a big deal, that I could transfer later, and warned me not to tell my mom. He insisted she didn't need the stress and that I should just go along with his plan. I told him directly I wouldn't. This was my future, not his decision. He grew cold and told me not to make him the bad guy, claiming he did what he had to do. It felt like a threat. For now, I'm waiting for my mom to come back from visiting my grandparents. I didn't want to shock her while she was away, but I'll tell her everything when she returns. Update 1. My mom came home, and I told her everything before she even took off her coat. She was devastated, shocked, and furious. At first, she didn't believe it until I showed her the letters. She cried and apologized, saying she should have known something was wrong. Then, her sadness turned to anger. My mom is usually calm and avoids conflict, but this time, she was livid. She yelled about how he could watch me break down over rejections while knowing the truth all along. Together, we confronted him. The moment he walked in, she demanded answers. He repeated the same excuses: money, budget, community college being enough. But my mom reminded him that the savings for me weren't his to control. Some of it came from my late father, and some she had saved separately. She accused him of being controlling and breaking her trust. He defended himself, saying we should thank him for preventing a financial mistake. I told him no one would thank him for lying and sabotaging my future. The fight escalated until he threatened to throw me out for causing drama. My mom immediately defended me, saying if anyone should leave, it was him. He shouted that it was his house since he paid the bills, but my mom warned she would call the police if he didn't calm down. Eventually, he stormed out. My mom assured me she was on my side and that I wasn't going anywhere. Update 2. Following advice, I spent the next few days contacting colleges. To my relief, 3 universities told me they would still honor my admission, either for late fall or spring. One of them, one of my top choices, also confirmed I was still eligible for a half scholarship since the funds hadn't been reassigned. That was an enormous relief after everything. When my stepfather found out, he was furious again. He shouted at my mom that supporting me would destroy their marriage. He even gave her an ultimatum: either support me going to university or stay with him. Yes, he actually made her choose between me and him. He accused me of being ungrateful and ruining their marriage, insisting she should stick to his plan of community college. My mom was heartbroken, but this time she stood firm by me. She accused him of trying to control her and cut me off. She told him, "You're my husband, but she's my daughter. Why are you forcing me to choose? We're supposed to be a family." His reply was that I wasn't his child. He said he had no responsibility to spend a cent on me, especially not for expensive college dreams. He reminded me that I was nearly 19, an adult, free to do what I wanted, just not with his money or under his roof. I tried to stay out of their shouting match, listening from the next room with my heart racing as he pressed my mother to stop supporting me. But when he declared, "She's not my daughter," I couldn't stay silent. I snapped back, "You're right, I'm not. My real dad would never treat me the way you just did." Probably not the best move, but I was furious. He shouted at me to stay out of it, saying it was between him and my mother. I yelled back that it absolutely involved me. Mom asked me to go to my room, and I eventually did just to stop the yelling. From there, I overheard him accuse my mom of being a bad wife if she sided with me, even threatening, "If you do this, don't expect this marriage to last." Mom broke down, crying. "Why are you doing this? You lied to us, and now you expect me to turn my back on my daughter's future? That's insane. How can you even talk about respect after what you did?" The fight dragged on until it finally went quiet, and I heard a door slam. He slept on the couch, or maybe the guest room that night. The next morning, I found Mom in the kitchen, looking drained. She told me, "If he makes me choose, I choose you. He can't call himself my husband and treat my daughter this way." I hugged her tightly and cried, relieved because I feared she might choose him over me. Their 5-year marriage versus me, who would soon be leaving for college, it had me paranoid. She reassured me she wasn't abandoning me and said, "We'll figure out the money. I don't care what he says. You're not missing this chance." For the first time through all this, I felt a little hopeful. My stepdad didn't speak to either of us that morning and left for work in silence. I avoided him completely. I spent the day at the library, using Wi-Fi to handle college stuff so he couldn't interfere, and quietly began packing essentials in case things fell apart fast. Update 3. A lot has changed. My mom, who usually avoids conflict, finally stood up for herself. She opened her own bank account and moved money into it for my tuition and living expenses. This was huge. My stepdad had managed every dollar for years. When they married, he convinced her to merge finances, saying he was better with money. He earned more, so she agreed. But it escalated from him handling bills to her needing approval for every purchase. He even cut up her personal credit card, insisting a joint card was enough. Looking back, it was all controlling behavior she never fought until now. After his ultimatum and seeing how far he'd go to sabotage my future, something snapped. Without telling him, she withdrew funds, money from her savings and my college fund, and put it in her own account. She also secured documents like birth certificates in case separation was coming. When I found out, I was proud of her for finally taking back control. But once my stepdad noticed, he retaliated in petty, cruel ways. First, he caught the withdrawal. He checks the accounts constantly. That same day, our home Wi-Fi suddenly had a new password. He locked me out of the internet. My mom has mobile data, so she didn't notice until I told her. He hadn't even shared the password with her either. Then, my phone stopped working. He removed me from the family phone plan, cutting off my service out of spite. Luckily, my phone wasn't tied to him, so Mom quickly gave me a backup SIM and promised to set me up on her plan. Still, who does that to an 18-year-old family member? Cutting off basic communication just to exert power. Worst of all, he followed through on his threat to kick me out. Once he realized Mom intended to support me anyway, he exploded, shouting that I was no longer welcome under his roof and accusing me of draining them. Mom was at work, so I faced him alone. I didn't argue. I just said, "Fine. I don't want to live here with you either." I packed 2 suitcases and backpacks, then called Mom. She was terrified and told me to go straight to my aunt's house. My aunt, my mom's older sister, came within an hour to pick me up. I was already waiting outside with my bags. I didn't feel safe inside anymore. My stepdad stayed in his office, ignoring everything. My aunt didn't even step inside. She just honked and I left. Now I'm staying with her. She welcomed me without hesitation, already aware of the situation because Mom had confided in her earlier. She told me I could stay as long as I needed and that she was proud of me for standing my ground. Hearing that was comforting. Mom stayed at the house, at least for now, probably to plan her next steps. She wanted me safe first. She's been in constant contact and even set me up with a new phone plan. She reassured me that my college future is secure. She already paid the deposit at the university with my scholarship before my stepdad could interfere. Meanwhile, their marriage is collapsing. They barely speak. He blames me for turning my mom against him. He even suggested to her that if I apologized and gave up on university, I could return home and things would go back to normal. She told him there was no normal to return to after his actions. That set him off again, accusing her of choosing a bratty kid over their marriage. I'm safe at my aunt's. My college plans are intact, and my mom has started consulting a lawyer with help from my uncle. I'm saving extra from my part-time job to prepare for school. My aunt refuses to take rent, telling me to focus on my future. My stepdad's last move backfired badly. He tried rallying extended family to his side, emailing and calling them with his version of events, painting me as spoiled and manipulative. But he slipped up. He admitted in writing that he intercepted some of my college mail, claiming it was to protect me from disappointment. That's mail tampering, a federal crime. 2 of my uncles are lawyers, and when they saw his email, they immediately called it out. One replied, essentially warning him in legal terms that he had confessed to a serious offense and that his behavior toward me was deceitful and possibly actionable. Instead of gaining support, he only exposed himself. My aunt even called and tore into him for betraying mom's trust and undermining my future. My grandparents are furious. No one in the family supports him anymore. Mom has now filed for legal separation, the first step toward divorce. She moved in with my grandparents, taking documents and belongings, and hired a lawyer with my uncle's help. When he was served papers, he was shocked, begging her not to end their marriage over a spoiled child. She told him it was too late. His lies and betrayals ended it. I'm proud of her. It's been painful for her, but she says she feels relieved now that the decision is made. As for me, I've officially enrolled in university for spring, attended orientation, and registered for classes. After everything, it feels unreal, but I'm excited to finally begin. We haven't decided whether to press charges for the mail tampering. My uncle thinks it could be leverage in the divorce. Mom doesn't want to escalate legally unless necessary. Personally, I don't care, as long as he stays out of my life. For now, he's gone quiet, probably realizing how badly he damaged everything. I wouldn't be surprised if he eventually tries to come back with apologies. But with the separation in motion, it's fart.